Oh my God, it's in the 70s and sunny today. What is life? As much as I love the warm weather, my lungs hate me today because they do not like whenever it goes from like 30 degrees to 70 degrees in a day. You know who does love it though? This guy. Yeah. We just went to the post office, got done dropping off next batch of shirts. We only got like 5 left, but I just put in the restock order, so they should be restocked in the next week or 2, depending on how long shipping and the making of the shirts takes and whatnot. Oh, and for anyone curious, I've been dealing with dumb drama. So y'all may have saw it, but the PR people for the studio that's putting out 5 Feet Apart, they got an agency that made these ads. They paid influencers to make these posts of how like distance is hard, and it kind of made it look like they were comparing like, oh, my friend lives in LA and I live in New York, and that's how I relate to the main characters of 5 Feet Apart who have to stay 6 feet away because they have a chronic life-threatening illness. And as you can see by this ad, this ad, this ad, I see what they were going for. They're trying to say that love conquers all, you know, love conquers distance, but in the context of like CF, that doesn't apply whatsoever. Having to stay 6 feet away from someone so you don't potentially kill them is not the same as being a state away from your granny. It's just not. While I'm still obviously a huge supporter of the movie and Justin Baldoni and everything that goes into it, I'm also not a person that's just going to blindly support everything that goes along with something if it's bad. And these ads were terrible. Like, it's not Justin Baldoni's fault. The director has nothing to do with this. Marketing teams hire other firms and they kind of craft these social media campaigns around movies and like their premise and storyline, but they don't really get into it. They're not worried about that. They're worried about getting these influencers to post about the movie, to market it to, you know, a younger audience. And a lot of these people whom I don't know, they're apparently like popular actors and musicians, rich kids who have way too much money. They all have like millions and millions of followers. So I get their strategy because I've worked in marketing. I know how it goes. So I wasn't really offended by these ads, but they were terrible. They were in poor taste and bad and have nothing to do with a movie that's been marketed for so long as a movie for CFers, but then you're paying these normal rich kids to post about how being separated from their friends is the same thing as being away from someone because you both have the same chronic illness. It's bad. I read it. I knew it was bad. I posted about it while still stating that I supported the movie. And then after I posted about it, the studio called me. You know, after my reaction video, I have spoken to Justin Baldoni and people over at CBS Films. So they got in contact with me and agreed to, like the people who are really the main people of this movie, they got in contact with me because they saw it too and immediately were like, whoa, this is bad. Because most people loved the ads, but the CF community hated it for the reasons that, you know, I told you. So the influencers all issued apologies and were like, listen, we're promoting the movie and we still want everyone to donate to CF and all that. And the studio also requested that they would pull it. So they fixed the issue. The big people in charge saw the ads and was like, that was terrible. Like, we have to pull this, done, marketing campaign over. Y'all have heard me say time and time again how the CF community can be a big old batch of whiny babies. And they have came out in full force because of these ads. They have a hashtag going around Instagram and social media. It's hashtag CF community unites. Oh my God, it's the dumbest thing. They're basically like, we demand an apology. And some people are like, sending personal insults to Justin Baldoni and like his family and stuff. It wasn't like Justin Baldoni had nothing to do with these ads, which is hilarious. Demanding an apology because this movie has offended some of the population of CFers because it's not our story. And the person who's leading the charge in all this is Gunnar Esiason. I went on his podcast. He's constantly been a enemy of the movie since like day one, so you know it's not very surprising. To the CF community who's in this witch hunt for this man. I get you don't know anything about him and you want to just hurl insults. Well, let me go ahead and tell you something. Justin Baldoni does not owe you an apology. He does not owe you shit. Grow up. Quit being children. I want to scream and moan and complain that CF never gets awareness. This happens. A guy forms a story with someone who has CF nurses on set, is literally doing everything possible to make an accurate CF movie that's going to shine a huge light on CF. and then something comes out that y'all don't completely agree with, and it's just, let's boycott the whole movie. We hate it. We hate Justin Baldoni. We hate the studio. We demand apologies. Our feelings are hurt. And then some of these people are like, you owe us a monetary donation to the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation. They don't owe you shit. Everyone's offended by something. Instead of taking the time to look and realize like, okay, this is how marketing works. It goes through this team, then this person can have it. And when you have a major motion picture being released and there's thousands of pieces of marketing material, it's not uncommon for something to slip under the cracks. It's not. But they pulled it. So they clearly listened to the CF community, but the CF community is still mad that they didn't listen to them. It makes no sense. No sense whatsoever. And the thing is, instead of approaching it in a very productive way, everyone just wants to hurl insults and demand an apology from Justin. And you know what? I don't blame him. I wouldn't give y'all's ass an apology. You don't deserve it. You think just because your illness got put into a Hollywood movie, you are suddenly owed something? You're not. Yes. The studio made an error and they corrected it. They realized those ads were bad, in poor taste, the influencers apologized for it, and the studio had them take it all back. So there, problem solved, issue done. But there have been people waiting in the wings to tear this movie apart for literally anything. Like I'm saying that people don't have a right to be mad about something or upset or state their opinions. That's personally fine. Eventually it turns from opinions to this, and they've kind of turned it into this thing of like self-entitlement. Like, oh, you use my illness, you owe me this. And also hurling like the personal insults and all that, like saying stuff about Justin's friend who passed away with CF and being very rude to like people I know. Like, no. Now demanding that someone who is making a fictional piece of art apologize to them for it just because of a goof, and that some people don't like the fact that CF is being used in a movie, in a fictional piece of art, in a fictional film. It's not anyone's story. It is a teen romance story, and they're really so offended that they're like, we demand an apology. They're issuing threats saying that he owes them money, that Justin Baldoni better issue a personal apology. Get over yourselves. Sure, I'm going to get a ton of hate on this video, but that's 100% okay. Justin Baldoni can't call you guys out, but I sure can. But anyways, enough about that drama. I just wanted to clear it up because I knew you guys had saw it and a couple of you have messaged me about it. And yeah, that was the whole situation. It's done now, over, poof. But if there's any local people who live in the Charlotte, North Carolina area, this Saturday is the Rich and Bennett's St. Patty's Day bar crawl. Obviously, you need to be 21. And the cool thing is the Rich and Bennett bar crawl has become the largest bar crawl in the world. It attracts like 20,000 plus people, and like it's supposed to be a really awesome thing. It's the first time I'll have ever gone to it. But the cool thing about it, and my selling point on the whole thing, is every year they choose like 2 charities to give back to because the event's gotten so huge. And lo and behold, one of the charities this year is the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation. Oh man, it feels so rad outside today. But in North Carolina language, that means it'll be like 30 degrees and raining tomorrow most likely. Real quick though, last time I checked, we were like at 32,000 subscribers, I believe. It took off over this past couple days. Like we went from 17,000 to 32,000 in like 10 days or something like that, which is friggin' insanity. Like, thank you guys so much. Like, you're so incredible to me. It's awesome. Inching closer and closer to that silver play button. I've really had very many expectations for this channel, like whatsoever. I thought it was amazing when I hit like 1,000 subscribers or something whenever my What is Cystic Fibrosis thing, they got picked up by Upworthy and shared around. And you know, I kind of vlogged off and on, but like when I started it back up in the hospital this past time, I was enjoying doing it again, but also like I've said numerous times, it was kind of like a therapy thing almost for me. After that 5 feet apart video, it's just taken off and it keeps going. It's amazing. I see like all the messages you guys send, all the love you give, like holy crap. I mean, I can't say thank you enough. I can say thank you a billion times, but it'll still never be enough. Now let's reply to some comments. I don't even say really responding to questions anymore because I kind of just like responding to random comments that I find, even if it's not a question. Scroll really fast, then I'll stop, and then I'll answer whatever pops up there. Is anyone allowed to sit on the roof of a hospital? Laugh out loud. Also new to the channel, love what you're offering to YouTube world. Hope your infection clears up soon. Infection's good now, So all that's, well, I guess Ember's gonna answer this one with me because he's just chilling here. He likes to creep in the corner. Is anyone allowed to sit on the roof of a hospital? Allowed? No. Do they do it? Yes, because I've done it. I've totally snuck up onto the roof of my hospital before. Not really allowed, but it's still fun to do. I don't have CF, but the unorganized medicine cart is giving me such anxiety. I'm forever reorganizing my meds and my kids' meds. I can't handle the lack of organization, sir. I'm sorry. It's organized in my mind, all right? I know where everything is. It may be chaos to the eyes, but I know exactly where everything's at. Do hot showers help you breathe better, or are they not recommended with CF? Whenever my lungs aren't in a flare-up, it really doesn't bother me. But if I'm like super tight-chested, I can't take a hot shower because I can't breathe. Oh, this is a long one. Would you date a woman that is chronically unwell / has health issues but not CF? I realize with CF there are infection control issues with dating other CFers, but your thoughts on that I imagine would be a whole other video on its own. What are your thoughts on dating someone that has some sort of chronic illness disability, especially since it's probable both of you may have down days / times at the same time? Down days / times, okay, never mind. I just totally read that as like a long run-on sentence. Sorry, continuing. Could you deal with that / how would you deal with that / is it possible it would be too much for you, especially considering both of you would most likely have hospital admissions, doctors, allied health appointments, procedures, etc.? That's actually a really good question. Been quite close with girls who have CF before, so the whole CF thing of dating someone wouldn't bother me, like the cross-contamination thing, if we were both comfortable with it, because I hang out with a ton of CFers anyways. But the mental thing, that is the biggest one. Like dealing like with CF, it's my burden. Like I know a bunch of other people have it, but I'm just kind of used to like the hospitals and everything. Like I'm used to being the one in the hospital bed. Being someone on the outside looking in, that is a whole like mental load to take on top of what I already have. At the same time, you would have that connection to where you're both, you know, talk about your illnesses and you just have that, you know, that mutual understanding. But then at the same time, man, I honestly don't know if I could do that, just because having seen my friends go through all they've been through with CF and with illnesses, and having to sit on the outside of the bed and be powerless to help, like I don't know if I could honestly do that with somebody who I would like love and marry and want to start a life with, because I honestly don't know if I could mentally do it. You know, the part of a person having a disability, you know, whether it's like a chronic condition or like a physical disability and all that, like that's whatever to me. Like the actual just illness part, like that's fine, that doesn't bother me. But the actual just mental thing of, would I be able to be there for that person when it's hard for me to like even really be there for myself mentally, with kind of the stuff that I deal with CF, and then just on top of just mental health and all that. So I honestly don't know. Like that's like a really good question, something to think about. I mean, I've had flings with other girls with CF, but we never took it to that next level of dating. Some have passed away, and it's just whenever you make like a really intimate and like deep connection with somebody. Oh man, yeah, I don't know if I could do that. I wouldn't rule it out. Like I'll never rule it out, but just from a mental standpoint, I don't know if I'm strong enough for that. Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't know if I could be strong enough for somebody else. Yeah, that's actually a really good question. So thank you. That could possibly be another vlog coming one of these days, because that's one thing I'd have to think about. Like I've never really put a lot of thought into it. So that's something that, you know, definitely gonna kind of bounce around in the old noodle for a little bit. So thank you so much for that question. I just got a call from my brother. I have to go pick him up. As always, thank you guys for checking out the vlog today. Sorry for the little bit of drama at first, but I knew I was gonna have to address it anyway, so I might as well address it here. And yeah, if anyone is going to the Rich and Bennett bar crawl, please let me know, because I'd love to hang out with anyone who lives in the area. As always, like me on social media. All my links are down at the bottom. Be sure to smash that subscribe button, hit the bell, so you get notified whenever I post something new. Love you guys. Later.